Billy Ho Sports is back again with another stakes weekend. This time we're heading over to Woodbine Racetrack to take a look at some Breeders' Cup Challenge Series races. And these are win and you're in races, winding down. So the connections want those nominations. Be on the lookout for tomorrow. I think I'll have Churchill Downs opening weekend show, and we'll look at three graded stakes races on that one. And we open the fall meet this evening, actually, with a little twilight racing at Churchill. So if you're not busy, you can take a look over there and see how the track looks. So anyway, we will be releasing more Breeders' Cup Classic contender videos. So be on the lookout for that. We've already done like Cody's Wish, Zandon, plus one of the Japan contenders and a UK GB Great Britain contender. Those all seem to be very good horses so far. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it very much. Smash that like button and leave a comment, and let's go. Okay, real quick before we get started, don't forget about the blog site website, billyhosports.com, where research is key and maybe we win sometimes. So I haven't really had anything awfully recently, like last week, Virginia Derby. And I got this handicapping 101 about past performances article out. It's just kind of some of the things that I use when I look at past performances. You know, maybe other people use other things, and I might look at more stuff, but it kind of shows you about like the style of the horse, whether they're early runners, pressers, or sustained type closers. The prime power number, which is kind of a ranking system. Obviously the comments are always important. Conditions of the race and all that kind of good stuff. Speed ratings, everything like that. There's the running styles. Pace analysis is kind of an important thing that I like to look at personally. So just a couple of things to get your head in the game a little bit when it comes to handicapping. If you're unfamiliar with it, I have links to articles which will give you more in-depth reading materials, like both from Brisnet and Daily Racing Form. So anyway, enough about that. Let's get on with it. And we're going to go to the eighth race. Let's see. No, we're not going to go to the eighth race. We are actually going to go to the sixth race. There we go. Sorry about that. I knew that I wasn't doing that one first. This is the grade 1 summer stakes, and it is 1 mile on the turf for 2-year-olds. And I believe we have several good contenders in here. So the winner of this race is actually going to get a ticket to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. So a couple of things just to caveat this. We have dual entries, like 3 of them, I believe, that are going to be entered in both this race and I believe the other race, the Natalma, the Johnny Walker, that one's for fillies. So we got 3 fillies in this race that are dual entered. So I don't know where they're going to go from here, but we'll act like for now that they're in the race. So I'm going to start with Carson's Run here. Christopher Clement, trained Dylan Davis will ride 4-1 morning line. Failed as the favorite last time, so he's 25% on beaten favorites, which is pretty good. Still ran second, very fought gamely in this grade 3. So I'm digging the 85 speed number and sustained. I like closers in these type of races, going a mile on the turf. So everything looks pretty good. It's third ranked, and I'm going to keep that on my list. The 3 horses, My Boy Prince, number 1 in the rankings. Mark Casse, Joel Rosario, highest speed ratings, won the last race. The breeding suggests he will like the grass. I'm probably sure about that. Ran a monster 98 going away at 6.5 furlongs on the all-weather back in August, just a few weeks ago. So, you know, and retains, actually is not retaining the same jockey. Savachi is going to be riding a different horse. I think we're going to have Joel Rosario. I can't say for sure. They have on the number 5 go with Gusto, Joel Rosario, but that's one of the dual entries. So I want to say this is the better horse. I want to say that this is the one 3-1 top choice, my boy Prince, that Joel Rosario will be riding. And that's just, logic dictates. I think I'll pass on the 4-horse. Not really digging much of anything. I don't like when all the comments are these poor bullet points on the right hand side. Go with Gusto is the first dual entry we'll talk about. Like I said, if it stays in this race, I don't think Rosario rides. I think they'll have to get another jockey. Not bad. The poor speed figure is due to probably a little bit lacking in the pace department and closing. I thought it was a really great effort closing at a mile. Uh, that was the problem. Now I remember, placed fifth through disqualifications. I didn't watch the race, so I don't know exactly where the foul occurred, but it was between him and the 9-horse. So, but it did swing wide and won the race with a late surge. So, it was not the stewards, it was the jockey and trainer, and it was upheld. So it is what it is. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but it is what it is. So anyway, another dual entry is Erosa and this is Kevin Attard and Johnny V. Velasquez riding. Best turf speed, ran really well at 6.5, so I think the distance will be okay. And that was the Catch a Glimpse Stakes. This filly showed nice patience too. It waited for room on the inside, and then once it got there, it charged home and won by a length. I like that about it. So I will keep an eye on this one for either race. And then we'll move on to the next one. Simon Stewart, Enrico Walcott, Western Whirl. Not quite there. It did win its last race, 112, broke the maiden, 7 furlongs on the turf, sprint to route, technically sprint to route, but 25% on the trainer. So that's one to keep an eye on, but I didn't quite make the thing just because like the poor graded stakes trainer type stuff. I don't like trainers that don't win a lot of stakes races when there are other trainers that have. So anyway, you got, I think that's bucket. I don't know. I can't. That's a funny looking word to try to pronounce. But this is another Kevin Attard. Blinkers on. May improve, but I don't think the speed's there, so I'm going to pass. Golden Canary is one of the dual entries I talked about. High percent jockey, won the last race. Hot jockey. And this is the one Sabachi is riding. Mark Cassidy trains, 86 speed. Everything looks good on this one. I will definitely consider if it stays in this race. The next one, King of the Track, is probably another one I'd consider. 85 speed, broke the maiden at 112K. Heavily bet in debut. Whenever they bet them down like that in their debuts, I usually pay more attention to that. And the all-weather, I think it should move up in the all-weather to the turf. So this one's kind of an interesting race. These 2-year-olds, extremely hard to predict. Honestly, over my entire lifetime, I've never really been all that great at like the first-time starters and the 2-year-old type stuff, but we're going to roll with it. I'm going to hit this gambling calculator and give you a $24 trifecta bet that I had in mind. I think the 2 and the 3 are the top 2. But like I said, this is extreme caveat with the 3 other horses that are dual entered. So if they stay in or they don't stay in, it's whatever. But I like the 2, 3 for the win. And then the 7, 10, and 11 underneath for a $24 try. So I think that should be a good race. We'll see who's in, who's out when the scratches come. So what we're going to do is go to the next race, which is, I believe this is the, I'm guessing Natalma. I know I don't get all my pronunciations right, but I try. So 100% trainer. That's probably like once. But anyway, 49 days off, Dazzling Star. Looks all right, but poor post position. The number 1 post has not fared well in these mile turfs. Coming over, been off this long and coming from overseas. I do like Charlie Appleby on trainers as far as like the turf horses go, but I can't see it for this one. I'll let them beat me 3-1. I don't know what it'll get bet down to. I'm going to probably pass on the two Patrick Husbands, Kevin Attard, although it does look pretty good. It just didn't, it weakened or drifted. So I don't like when they give it up that, we're going a mile here. So it's running hard and then hits the stretch and then fails. So it got there at 4.5, but it seems like the added distance didn't, maybe the fitness just isn't there yet. Did have a sharp workout. We'll have to see, but I'm going to pass. Dancing Duchess is a Mark Casse. Emma Jane Wilson is riding. This one actually kind of struck me as a bit interesting. Just missed by a neck in this sore free 125K, 86 speed, added distance. Seemed to take to the turf pretty well and able to maintain. The pace was a bit on the slow side, but I think this one's got a decent chance to hit the board at least. And another one I think's got a decent chance is Brock Nardini, and this is trained by George Weaver. Declan Carroll will ride. Been off for 45 days, but won the debut pretty convincingly, breaking the maiden at 88K. Went a mile and a 16th. So this is actually going to be a slight cutback in distance, although I don't think that matters. But we're looking at some solid figures here from the trainer. Decent, half the board, or hits the board half the time. I'm definitely going to keep that one. Skipping Miss Tart, and we've spoken about Erosa already. One of the dual entries, ran the 93 speed figure in the Catch a Glimpse, showed the nice patience, all that good stuff. Should be fine. And I don't know where it's lists Johnny V riding her in the previous race we talked about, but this one's got Rafael Hernandez. So logically, I think just as good a shot in the other race. I'd probably stay with Johnny V and try to win that one. But it is what it is. Simply in front, I think I'll pass on. Like I said, whenever I see all the bullet points on the right side, it's not that great. Although it did run a fairly decent race, burst between, and got in for second. But I have to pass on that one. The top rated horse, according to Brisnet, is Ready to Jam, Mark Casse. And this one is Shivachi riding as well. I like it on the left side with all the stars is what I want. I want the high percent jockey. I want the hot jockey last 7 days. I want the 23% trainer when it's beaten favorite. I want the best turf speed. So 6.5 furlongs, just missed. So I think the added distance and the 91, I really like Ready to Jam in this one. Like I said, we've spoken on Go with Gusto as well. I don't know who's going to get the mount. I imagine Emma Jane is listed on 2 horses here, I do believe. So we're not really sure where to go with our Gusto. She's Faya, beaten by a weaker, poor shipper, never ran her out. Don't think I'm going to get there. Doesn't seem to do well even at 5.5. Maybe would appreciate the distance. I don't know. But I'm going to pass. I'll have to see it first. Kevin Rice, trainer. She feels pretty. Off for 2 months, poor speed figs. Did win by a neck in this 5.5. So broke a maiden at 70K. A little bit too big of a jump in class, I do believe. I like this horse. The next one, the 12 horse Ozara. Christopher Clement is the trainer. Dylan Davis will ride 34% on the second grass outing. And won by a neck, going a mile and a 16th. So was controlling in the stretch. So the cutback in distance should be okay. I like that. That's 2 horses in this race that are cutting back in distance that ran well at a mile and a 16th. So for these youngsters, that's a good sign. Now it is probably a bit of a downtick. Tyler Gaffleone rode the winning race, and we're getting Dylan Davis. But Dylan Davis is a solid turf jock, so I'm okay with that. Now, this one is the wild card. Moving up in class from last start, off for 3 months, never raced a route, but it's on the turf, and it's Chad Brown and Joel Rosario in the saddle. Won overseas at 7 furlongs from French. So I think Dia Matrona is going to have to be considered amongst the top horses in this race. You're not going to get 10-1. People are going to bet this horse down, I imagine. As soon as they see Chad Brown and it's on turf, Joel Rosario, it's going to get the jockey trainer combo bump. Golden Canary, obviously, we've talked about as well in the previous race, won by a neck, going 6.5, a high percent jockey, all looks good. So if it stays in the race, depending on who rides, third and prime power, we'll have to see. Rhapsody, this one's interesting. This one is another Kevin Attard and Kazushi Kimura, who is one of the top jockeys at Woodbine. Definitely sharp, 20% trainer on the first route, high percent jock, sharp workouts. One to keep an eye on. Not really sure if it's there. Ran third in that Soar Free behind 2 other competitors in this race. Possible competitors. Don't really know where we're at just yet. But that one is kind of interesting. I think that Rhapsody would be looking to appreciate an added distance. So we'll have to see. And where did I land? This one's going to be hard. I'm not even going to go over to the betting board on this one because we don't know who's in, who's out with the 3 dual entries. Very, very difficult. But I have to go 13 and then 12, which is the Chad Brown, Dia Matrona and Ozara. I like those 2 with the cutbacks. The 8 Ready to Jam and the 4 Brock Ardini. All of those are not dual entered, so those will all be on my mind approaching the pick 3s and whatnot. So I'll show you a pick 3 here in a minute, so stick around. We're going to do the Woodbine Mile. So let's get it. Here we go. Now this one is going to be much easier. We've only got 6 entries. The one is Master of the Seas. I think is going to be the favorite. Won overseas at Ascot and been off for 2 months, but does have the poor post position, so it is going to be interesting. But Charlie Appleby, 54% shipping, shipper to U.S. That is really good. So you can't deny that horse is definitely going to be amongst your top couple. War Bomber, the early pressing style, it does have some really, really strong mid-90s back-to-backs in these 2 grade 2 events. So I do find that interesting. Ran a strong win at a mile in the King Edward. So I do kind of have one eye open on that one. But then let's see. I think Cheryl Spate. This one I don't know. Roger Atfield and Johnny V. Definitely got some turf speeds, but was beaten by rivals in the last race, the King Edwards. So I'm going to pass on that one. I really like this Ice Chocolate. The highest last race speed, that 98, was strong in this 4-star Dave, running up on him third on the good turf. So it was slightly compromising. Don't know, carried out. So it was steady Eddie. Ran up against Casa Creed and Annapolis. So I think those 2 horses are far beyond any horse in this race. So I think the first for a reason, Ice Chocolate. And then My Sea Cottage, I'm not going to be seeing that one. It ran 4th in the 4-star Dave. Wasn't bad outing, but I think I'll pass in a short field. Lucky Score is interesting. This would be the other choice. Hot Jock, 3rd in the last race, the King Edward. Ceviche. I always want to say ceviche. I know it's ceviche, but it just looks like ceviche to me for some reason. But anyway, this one I think can improve off this last King Edward effort. Very fastly contested race for the turf, plus 12 on the first call, plus 11 second call. So I think that this one is a sustained closer. So if it gets any kind of pace again, I think has a shot to hit the board, basically. So what we're going to do is go over here to the betting calculator. And I do believe I've got a pick three. I just did, I believe it's 20-cent pick three for this. So the money doesn't matter, but I just set it on 10 just to be curious. But it is a 20-cent pick three. You can do it whatever you want as far as the money goes. But like I said, the 2 and the 3 in the summer stakes are the ones that I will be after. Those just seem like the top choices. And then it's the 1, 4, and 6 on the race we just talked about. So I got the Master of Seas, Ice Chocolat, and the 6-horse Lucky Score. So this one is the interesting one. We don't know who's in, who's out, entries, whatnot. I do have the 13, the Chad Brown horse, checked already down here, but you can see this is only going to be a $1.20 bet for 20 cents. So you can do whatever you want. You can add in all kinds of horses in this middle leg if you'd like, because the one I went light on is leg 1 with the 2 and the 3. And this one will probably have the most competitors. So when things shake out and we know who's in, who's out, then we can adjust accordingly. So I don't really want to put anything out there that's not going to be accurate. So you're talking about a $6 bet here, or even if you just went like 50-cent try, it's $18. You know, you can spread really deep in this second leg. So just keep that in mind. And that'll do it. Hope you like the show. More to come. Lots more Breeders' Cup action down the road. So stay tuned, stay engaged. And until next time, see you soon.